Now we're heading to Southland with Cosmo Kentish Barnes. He's with Linda Gilkison, Mel Pennicott and Michael Todd to find out about a trust-run dairy farm training initiative that gives young adults with high-functioning disabilities the skills required to work on a farm.
So one basically heads out this way, one goes out that way, and when you're shifting one, the other one's going.
I am on a dairy farm near Bluff, and Mel, you manage this farm?
Yeah, I'm the contract milker.
Yes, how are things going?
Last year was a really smashing year. This year the weather's been really challenging, but you make do, you just dig in, and a good team, and you do what you can.
Yes, it's looking a bit dry at the moment.
It is dry. We went from flooding to complete dryness, which you're seeing now, and then we'll sort of get into March. Normally March we'll get a bit of rain and we grow, but we grow actually all winter. So it's an unusual farm because we back onto the Invercargill Inlet and the Maui Inlet. So
Yes.
We're basically sea level.
And tell me about your herd.
So we've got a mixed herd. Obviously we go for the smaller Kiwi cross. We want light beasts on soft soil. So we're basically peat here, and then we head out the back closer to the beach, and that's where we hit the sand. So we grow lots here, but we like the moisture. And the girls being the Kiwi cross, little cows, keep it positive and they'll produce for you. Happy cow's a productive cow.
Yeah, they're munching away in the paddock there.
Yep.
How many cows have you got in total?
So we calve about 470 and we're currently on about 450.
And twice a day milking?
Yes. Yeah, we've managed to hang on to it all year because we've had silage. So when everybody hit that really rough calving, spring, winter, I think it's been the wettest that we've had down here for generations. We were lucky because we still had silage and we just feed out on your lanes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Linda, you are from the Whanake House charity down here in Southland. For people who aren't familiar with that, can you give me a brief overview?
Okay, so Whanake House Charitable Trust was formed in 2021. So what we do is we transition young adults with high functioning disabilities into work and community. We have training for work programs with health and wellness programs as well. But we have a huge emphasis on social interaction. We have a gym on site and a personal trainer. And so we also provide opportunities for them to live at Whanake House to develop independence. At the moment we have 5 young men there, so 2 of them are full-time and 3 just come in for 2 nights a week to be together, and we have a mentor on Monday nights. So we sort of provide an all-round service for these young people.
And one of the programs that you run is a dairy farm training program, and that's why we're here at this farm.
Yes, so the dairy farm training program is very much part of Whanake House. So the reason that it actually eventuated was that I actually have a son who's 27, has Asperger's. And so we are actually sheep farmers in northern Southland, so we live rurally. And at that time when he left school, it was quite hard to find a job for him. It wasn't easy. So we actually, back then, we found a local dairy farm that was really supportive, and we actually had a couple of really good mentors at that time. They helped Tom learn how to milk cows. So he learnt in a very well structured and clear way. And so once he learnt the steps, he just grew in confidence and he became a really successful dairy farmer.
And he enjoyed that learning process.
Yeah, he did. He enjoyed that. And I think that he realised himself that once he could work hard, he was respected for it. And that was actually really cool. It was sort of a turning point. I'm working hard and this is great. People realise I can do something and I'm proud of myself.
And he's still dairy farming?
Actually, no. So he dairy farmed for about 2.5 years. So now we wanted a bit of a change, and so he's actually at home working on the sheep farm with us now, and he's got a team of dogs. And so I think dairy farming gave him the chance to realise that anything was possible for him.
It opened the door.
Opened the door, and sheep farming is obviously not as structured, but he's doing well. And so really what came of that was an idea for me, and I think, all you need is an idea and the determination to really see it through. And so this is where Whanake House has evolved from, and now yeah, I'm very excited about the growth.
It's grown quickly.
It's grown really quickly. We're only about 4 years old. We've got a really good team of staff aboard, and we've got really good goals ahead of what we want to achieve, and I can just foresee it getting bigger as we go along.
I guess this must cost a fair amount of money. Where does the funding come from?
Well, there's never ever enough funding. That just seems to be what it's been like all the way through at Whanake House, because we're not government funded, so we rely purely on grants. But Rabobank Community Fund came aboard, and they have supported the dairy farm training program up to now, which is fantastic. But it's difficult because, as I said before, we're not government funded and we rely on grants, and it's always harder to get as much as we did at the start. But we never say never, and we always find a way. Because when you have something that's important that you believe in, it's just a matter of keeping going.
Yes. So did you team up with a training provider to help structure the dairy farm training program?
Yeah, so we partnered with Ag Academy, so they came aboard. So Ag Academy have a series of short videos linked to Relief Milking course, is what they come out with at the end. But what we do is we need to teach them on farm visually, first of all. So we found a really good trainer, and they would spend the day with him learning how to milk cows, and this is what Michael has done. So that was stage one, and to find the trainees we always took time with that. So we would sit them down at Whanake House, and they would say, yeah, I'm interested in milking cows, but we'd sit them down and we'd say, do you know what a cow looks like? Have you ever been on the farm? So all of these questions we asked them first, and then we would give them maybe 3 trips out to the farm, 1 day a week milking, and then we would get back together and we'd reassess, was this something they really wanted to do? And actually, majority of them said yes, we'll carry on. So after that, we will, I will start looking for a job for them, which is actually the hardest part of the puzzle, to be honest.
Yes, finding a good fit.
Finding a good fit. It's very important to find the right fit, and the ideal fit, I think, is really maybe a dairy farmer that's sort of semi-retired, wants to give back to the community, someone that's compassionate, someone that's patient, and obviously Mel has all those qualities. So she's been... Not the retirement. But it has been a really good fit for Michael, working here with Mel. He's been here for a year now, and sometimes things don't go the way they should. They take a little bit longer, but that's the journey. And, and once you get it, when I find working with these young adults with high functioning disabilities, is that once you do get it, you get it. But we don't want these young people to be on farm and get a job milking and that's all they do. It's so important that we find the right fit, the right farmer that can say, hey, we need to teach you how to drive the tractor, or we need to teach you how to put up fences, and otherwise they'll end up in the shed milking all the time, and that's not what we want. We want them to progress.
Yeah. Michael, you are a qualified dairy farm relief worker. How does that feel?
Oh, great. Working with Mel's privilege.
Yes.
And I've just been enjoying it, like being with the cows, being in the shed.
What sort of things have you learned?
Carving, because I've never done it before. It's one thing. And getting over those, like putting reels up.
Milking?
Yep.
And do you have a favourite cow? One that you give special attention to in the milking shed?
There's actually a few of them. One of their names is Snowy.
Yeah, Snowy. She actually looks like a Hereford with a Frisian body.
Yep, she loves her ears being scratched.
500?
500, yep.
They've got a pecking order to come through the shed, and of course all the pets, they come up and they know it's either me or Michael at the back, and they'll come up and they'll just sit there and they wait. They block your entrance to get in the shed, they'll block it until you've given them a good scratch. In the ears, on the butt.
Yep.
When you first found out about this program, did you put your hand up straight away, or did you have to think about it first?
Oh, I had to think about it. And then, I just decided to go with it.
Yes.
Because I thought it would be a good opportunity for me.
I'm just trying to think, how many trainings did we do out in the farm in northern Southland? How many times did you go out there?
I think it was 16.
16 in total?
times. Yep.
Yeah.
So you started on that training farm just to see if you liked it,
Yep.
and then you started working with Mel.
Yeah.
So where are you living now?
Just about 10 minutes from here.
So your mum's house is in there, but during the week when you're working, there's actually a hut on farm where he learns to become independent and look after himself and, time management, time efficiency, basic living skills. Yeah.
Does Mel come and bash on the door to wake you up?
He's never slept in.
no.
He has never, ever slept in.
So you're up first thing every morning?
Yeah. I don't even need an alarm.
Normally get up, do the first milking, and then get that through, have a breakfast, which is normally about half an hour, and then it's come out, collect the new calves, feed all the stock that's on farm, the different mobs, and then normally if we can we fit in about a 2-hour lunch break, and then you come out for your afternoon milk. But Michael's skill too is he has strength and nothing is a challenge. Like if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's windy and you give him a job, he'll go out and he'll be taking tyres off the stack, anything.
This has been a real change in your whole lifestyle, this, isn't it, Michael? And I love, that's what I love about this, is seeing the success
Yes.
and where we've come from and where you are now. It's really, really exciting.
And Mel, what's it been like for you working with Michael? Why did you link up with the program in the first place?
I often like to think of myself as this may be the wrong way to say it, but I bat for the underdog. Everybody deserves a chance, and everybody's on a different wavelength. You've just got to have the patience, the skill to spend time and work out the different wavelength to get the best from everybody. Everybody can shine. Like this season, it's been so challenging, the weather. It's probably not the best year for Michael to arrive, but we've made good of it. He's never once said no. We were driving in paddocks on a motorbike and you would just sink.
Oh yeah, getting the calves in the mud and that wind.
We did call them boots.
Was that?
He hadn't worked out the skill that when the mud's halfway up your boot, you actually roll your foot forward. And we were just sitting there.
You lost your boot?
Several times he was losing his boot. So for a while there we were calling him boots and I would just crack up laughing and roll that foot. Come on, boots. That you learn, like I say, mud. We've had mud go over the boots this year. It's just a skill.
Yeah. Did you have to follow some sort of training structure with Michael?
Not really. So winter was a golden time because you haven't got the pressure of calving, you haven't got a herd of 450 cows that need your attention. So that's when you can focus on your fencing, your basic animal health, picking up little things like the fencing, moving stock, working out their feed allowance and stuff like that. That was good, and you've got to be patient.
And talking about patience, Linda, this is not a training program that you rush young adults through. It takes time and a lot of
Definitely.
work.
It does take time. And how long is a piece of string? See, initially Michael just said that he did 16 times he went out there in the farm in northern Southland. But we had another young man that went 3 times. And then my trainer said, he's ready for a job. I thought, oh, okay. So it just depends on how they are and how they learn. But it's about taking time, it's about looking for different ways to achieve where you want to get to, and just being determined that it will actually work.
So how many people have gained their certificate?
Michael is actually the only one so far. We've got another one training at the moment, and before Ag Academy came along and partnered with us, we trained 2 more trainees without the certificate. So it's just a work in progress.
What was it like getting your certificate?
Yeah, I felt very proud. Felt like it was like a change for my life and getting away from, I guess, the stuff that goes on at home and pushing myself forward.
Did you have a difficult childhood?
Ooh. Yeah.
Mm.
It's very hard to talk about that.
Mm. Mm.
You're doing well though.
doing good.
We've come a long way. There's been a lot of conversations, and I'm actually really proud of Michael because, you know, the stuff that comes out, it doesn't come out of a lot of people. You know, and the stuff he's, you know, shared with me, which, you know, you take no further, but it's great to be able to communicate and get it off your shoulders.
Better out than in.
Yep. You know, and if working like this, you know, Michael might not have chosen to be a dairy farmer, and he might be uncertain, but the little steps he's taking, you know, being able to talk about his life, being able to talk about his home, the challenges, you know, it's all progress in the right direction. And there's no time limit, there's no time frame on this. You know, baby steps is all you need for, you know, for basic success.
Yeah.
What an amazing journey, Michael. You've done all the training, you've got your certificate, and now you can do it all here on the dairy farm. Congratulations.
Oh, feels good. Yeah, to be here where I am now.
When Michael got his Ag Academy certificate, we caught up at Whanaki House. We got a Southland Times reporter to come along. Michael arrived, he was dressed in a suit, and I don't think the smile left his face. He was just so proud of himself, and we were proud for him. And we had a Rabobank Community Fund representative there, Ag Academy representative Lizanne, and his mum and his sister was there, and us, and we did an article for Southland Times because I thought it was a story that needed to be told.
We've come into a paddock where you've got some of your cows, and we're standing by Big Smiles, is that right?
Yeah, Miss Smiles or Camilla. When one of the young people come in, and of course they had the can of spray tail paint, and they put a big smile on her. So they've called her Miss Smiles, but her actual name from the years before is Camilla.
Okay.
And I'll let you guys work on that one.
Yes.
There's only one Camilla I know.
Yes.
And when she calves, her calves actually come out, because of her size, they come out half weaned. Oh, they're ginormous.
She's a very big cow.
Yep.
Yeah. How old is she now?
Or she'll be 9, 10.
Yeah.
And you've got a cow in the next door paddock who's 18.
Yeah, she is 18. I actually bought her off a farm I was working on. It was when the payout fell and the freezing works were overloaded. And I actually bought 7 cows for $300 each. And I thought, no, I've worked hard in this industry. If people want me to work there, they will let me have a few pets. Mm-hmm. And of course, I've just kept, these are my last 2. So the old girl was 18 and Hippo. They retire gracefully. They have reared so many calves for me, which I sell to the farm owner.
So no milking for them?
Yeah, no milking.
And Mel, what does the future hold for you?
My contract's up here, so if it's another farm, it's another farm. Anything, yep, as long as it's with animals. If we found a Whanaki farm, that would be ultimate. That would be paradise. Yep.
Would be.
If you could find $2 million somehow?
Yeah, students could live on farm, close to town. That would be ultimate. You know, quiet herd. That's all you need is a quiet herd. Progress them right from where to go.
What you've done and being part of this, though, it's just so. I hope. Well, I've seen how you've found it so rewarding.
Yeah.
And the change that's occurred with Michael and how he's progressed, and
Yeah.
it's quite exciting.
And Linda, because of the experience you had with your son, how important was it to share your learnings with other people?
I think it's very, very important, because if you don't share what you've learnt during your life and you've been through an experience, then if you don't share it, it will be lost. And it's important to share it to other people so they can learn from it and gain from it.
It sounds like it's a wonderful service for those young adults who need a helping hand, and good luck with your future plans.
Yes, thank you. We always knew that we had to bridge the gap for these young adults, the ones that probably are a lot more disabled. They tend to get picked up by the services that are already available, and this is where we realised there was a gap. And so the ones that are high functioning after they're finished at school, it's kind of like the parents have taken them through school, and it's not been easy for them all the way through, and it's like, you're an adult now, I've got you there and I'm tired, and what do I do now, and how do I find you a job? Well, that's where we come in. And we're hoping that this podcast finds more. We're hoping that there's parents out there that have a son or a daughter that's just sitting at home who's 18 plus, not knowing where to go or what to do. It would be really good, because I think there's a lot more out there, we just haven't found them yet, and that's super important for us. We want to help as many as we can.
Linda Gilkison there, from the Whanake House Charitable Trust in Invercargill. Cosmo was also talking to contract milker and mentor Mel Pennicott and Dairy Farm Training Program graduate Michael Todd.